Coming right up is DC News number 142. We're going to go around the DC universe with Astro City. It's coming back, and you'll never guess where it's going to land at. Also, we're going to talk about Tom Strong, who's also coming back, and you'll also never guess where he's going to land at in the DC universe. Also, Zatanna is leaving the Justice League to go to the Justice League. And we're going to wrap it up with a little bit about the passing of Carmine Infantino. All that and more coming right up. Hey, you want to save 20% off of everything in the store? Then show up on the 20th of every month, because the 20th is Founders Day here at Alternate Reality. And on Founders Day, everything except this week's new comics and bulk supplies is 20% off. That's right, every single thing in the store is 20% off every 20th here at Alternate Reality.
DC Comic Book News. Bo and Comic Book Man style. Hey, buffoonery is a style.
Individually we shine, collectively we suck. DC Comic Book News, episode 142, Refuse to Defuse.
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. Bo!
Yes?
Let him know.
It's DC time.
DC time! Coming to you from this place, Alternate Reality, located at the intersection of Wonderland and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all my new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone, especially my DC comics. And this is an all DC Universe update. We're going to go around the DC Universe, starting with what used to be the Wildstorm Universe, because Astro City used to be one of the cornerstones of the Wildstorm universe. Homage, remember Homage?
Yes, it was Homage Comics.
Part of Homage Comics. Of course, Wildstorm doesn't exist anymore. Now it's called the New 52.
Yes. It is.
But Vertigo still exists, and Vertigo has a lot of empty rooms in it right now.
And yeah,
I just updated the subscription form, and there are 4 Vertigo titles on there right now. 4 Vertigo titles. That's it.
So DC, looking at that, went, we're bringing back Astro City, and it's not a Wildstorm book, and it's not a DC, it's not a New 52 book because it's not connected. So from now on, when Astro City returns, it's going to live in the Vertigo universe.
Ah, there you go, Vertigo universe.
So there's no connection to the rest of the DCU.
So it'll be in the Vertigo universe.
Yes.
And now, will there be any substantial changes other than
No.
that? I mean,
No, it'll still be
Busiek
Astro
is
City.
essentially doing the same thing.
Busiek and Anderson are still doing the book. It's not going to change anything. It's going to be the same book.
It's not going to get Vertigoed up. Back when Vertigo actually meant something.
What the hell? Yeah, what the hell's Vertigo up to anymore?
Well, yeah, anymore. Once upon a time, it had an actual feel.
I mean,
and
Vertigo.
look
Well, Vertigo was
texture to it.
Vertigo was horror and science fiction
And crime.
and crime. And so Astro City is crime and sort of science fiction.
Yeah, well,
Superheroes.
It's got 4 titles. It has whatever the 4 titles have. That's what it's got. Well, Fables, Fairest, which is half of the line right there. Unwritten.
Unwritten.
And I forget what the 4th was. It was The Wake.
And The Wake.
And The Wake.
Yeah, but The Wake's a limited series.
Well, it's like 12-issue limited series.
Wake's a limited series, and you've also got another limited series coming from them. And
Okay, well, Astro City, how long do you think this is going to be going on? Busiek has never done more than 6 to 8 issues of a damn thing in any stretch.
I would assume that Busiek has given Brent Anderson these scripts for a while, and Anderson's a relatively quick artist, and so this book will ship on time until Brent Anderson, who's not doing anything else, except he's doing covers, and he's doing Phantom Stranger. He'll probably end up dropping that book just to work on Astro City. So.
Okay. Meanwhile, another Wildstorm book, and of course Wildstorm doesn't exist anymore, as we said, is Tom Strong. Now, Tom Strong is going to do what?
Tom Strong's coming back in July with a limited series called Tom Strong and the Planet of Peril.
And is this going to be at Vertigo?
It will be a DCU book, as far as we can tell, from Chris Frost and Peter Hogan. This was announced about 2 or 3 years ago from DC, and we're finally seeing this book after all this promise. The series will show Strong on a quest for something that's going to save the lives of not only his daughter Tesla, but her unborn child. So you get the return of Tom Strong.
Okay, question I have is,
yes?
Okay, this originally was published at Wildstorm because what's his
Alan
name?
Moore.
Alan Moore
had no connection with DC.
Alan Moore never ever wanted to see one of his books ever published again at DC Comics.
So they invented an imprint.
No, they didn't. Well, America's Best Comics, which was a subsidiary of Wildstorm, and technically Wildstorm wasn't the DC universe. So that was how they got around that. But now Tom Strong is coming back to DC.
Yeah, DC.
So I guess at DC they don't really care about pissing Alan Moore.
Alan Moore doesn't care.
Well, whatever happened to I don't ever want to see any of my books ever at DC ever again.
Tom Strong, Alan Moore doesn't care.
Wouldn't you get all cranky about this?
No, he doesn't care.
Okay.
Basically, this
Well,
is
I know DC doesn't
this
care.
is Chris Sprouse and Peter Hogan working on this. If you walked up to Alan Moore on the street in London and said, you know, you're doing this limited series, you know what Moore's attitude would be? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. Zatanna, she's going to leave Justice League Dark and join what?
She's joining the Justice League proper in
Oh
issue
my
number
God.
22.
Has she ever been in the Justice League before?
No.
No.
Never.
This will be a first.
This will be the first time. She'll be wearing a costume that actually blends previous versions
Yes,
of the
I
costume.
know she's a long time Justice
Fishnets
League.
and stuff, and it'll lose the bustier and leather pants that she's wearing in Justice League Dark. So
Yeah.
she's moving up from the second tier book to the big tier.
So
book.
you say she's going topless?
No, she's not wearing topless.
okay?
She'll be wearing an outfit that's close to the outfit she used to wear all the time.
Exactly. She's wearing a costume
Fishnets.
She's wearing a costume looks a hell of a lot like the costume she wore when she first joined the Justice League back in the late 70s. It looks an awful lot like that, which everybody bitched about, and everybody wanted the fishnets back because, hell, fishnets are cool. Guys that buy comics like to see girls in
Yeah,
fishnets.
they're really, really good
This
in a
is-
fight. You know,
She's a magician.
Oh, my God.
She doesn't kick ass. She speaks spells backwards,
I'd like to
and then
punch her in
does
the
stuff.
head. I'd like to punch her in that.
She can wear all the bedroom clothes she wants. For God's sake, why do you want to stick her in a stupid superhero outfit when you can have her wearing bedroom performance clothing?
Because John Constantine likes her in
Bedroom
that outfit.
performance clothes.
Because Constantine
Talk to
really
Sarah. That's what
likes
she
her in that.
refers to it as. So I got that from Sarah. Bedroom performance clothing.
I'm going to
Well, it is
remember
performance.
that.
It is a form of performance
Well,
art.
there you go. Say it backwards. Say it
Say
backwards.
it backwards.
And our last story, flipping the script a little bit, our last story involves the death of Carmine Infantino, who passed away just yesterday, our time. here
At the age
office.
of 87.
Age
Good
of
run.
87.
That was a good run.
Carmine Infantino was a guy. I mean, Carmine Infantino worked at DC for a long time. He introduced a whole bunch of characters to the DC universe. He left DC. He went over and worked for Marvel. He's a guy who's basically bounced back and forth.
Right.
He had a very, very distinctive art style. Which is basically like, you could call it an early version of manga almost, because he would show speed lines and a whole bunch of cool
lot
stuff.
of
Yes,
Angulars.
well, yes and no. He had a lot of speed lines, but nothing with big eyes or anything like that. Carmine Infantino ran DC in the early 70s. He was the guy. He was the president of DC after Mort Weisinger left.
Yeah.
He took over at DC. Julie Schwartz was a sub-editor, and other people were editors. But Carmine ran the show till Jeanette Kahn came in.
Yeah.
Jeanette Kahn came in the late 70s, and then Jeanette Kahn was the president until Paul Levitz, and now it's Dan DiDio. So DC has never had a lot of turnover as far as presidents of the company go.
No, it's
I mean,
usually
one every decade to 2 decades.
Yeah,
is
it's usually
pretty
when
much
someone
standard.
shows up, they're there for a long time. Like
Yeah.
I said, when Infantino, when he left DC, so he went over and worked for Marvel. He did like Human Fly. He actually co-created the Human Target, which is a TV series and an old comic. A whole bunch of Flash villains, and he was
Remember a
a
couple
very,
of
very
Star
talented
Wars issues when they
He
were
did a little-
published
it's
at
a Carmine
DC.
Well, when he
Infantino
left
did a little bit of
DC,
everything.
when he left DC and went over to Marvel, and see, the funny thing that happened with Carmine was he was primarily known as an artist. He is an artist. I don't think he ever wrote anything. He was primarily an artist
He could co-create. Actually, he could help out with writing, but he wasn't an actual writer per se.
throughout the 60s at DC, and then he became president of DC. Okay, and then when he stepped down or was removed or whatever they did with him
He was old.
to get Jeanette Kahn in there, he had nothing to do. And Marvel said, "Hey, why don't you come over and draw for us?" And he said, "Oh, people still care about my art style."
And they went, yes, people still care about your art style because A, it was good, and B, Carmine was very fast. He was a quick artist. He drew quick.
And he drew Star Wars, among other titles,
Yeah.
over at Marvel. Then after he got done with his Star Wars run and a couple other things over at Marvel, DC said, well, why don't you come back and draw Flash? And he had a run on the Flash around Flash 310 through 350, I think, when
Yeah,
he left the book. The whole Trial of the Flash.
Trial of the Flash thing.
That was Carmine Infantino drawing that, and he came
And
back.
by the way, don't blame Carmine for the fact that arc just nowadays
Well,
sucked.
Well, the arc went on like
It went on
15
forever.
issues too long. The art was then what the clone arc for Spider-Man became
Yeah.
in the early 90s.
Yeah, it was
went on way
DC's
too long.
version of Spider. It's like, why is this story arc still going on?
But Carmine was drawing the Flash, and then Crisis came, and then he sort of got out of drawing, and I guess he sort of retired.
And well, yeah, because at that point, I mean, he was pretty old, and a lot of when artists get to a certain age, nobody really wants them to draw anything, because people go, who?
And he never showed up much at cons, that I remember.
No, I think
wasn't a big
quite
con
comfortable. I mean, he was quite comfortable in his old age, and he was retired. And everyone who knew him went, he was a hell of a guy. He was a really nice guy.
Okay, I always liked Carmine Infantino's art. Carmine Infantino's Flash was the first Flash that I was ever exposed to. The whole thing of Barry Allen changing into the Flash in one long panel, where it's Barry Allen on one end of the panel, Flash at the other end of the panel, and there's 25 images of the Flash in between of him going through the whole changing thing. I just thought that was astounding when I was a little kid. Just the fact that someone could sit down and draw all that and show that whole process. I always loved Carmine Infantino's art because of that. And that's it. Our condolences go out to the Infantino family on the death of Carmine. Go to the store's website. Check out all the news that this man sends me that I post up there. Bo,
Yes.
tell the folks at home where the website is.
Well, Sarah will do this for me. All right.
www.myalternatereality.com. Warning, may cause chuckling.
Stop off the website. Check out his news. The next time, this is Comic Book Man
And Bo.
saying,
So long, Carmine.
bye.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.